Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've looked around recently, well, you already know that being a leader right now feels incredibly intense. I mean, we're operating in a world that's moving at absolute breakneck speed. The pressures, they're coming at us from all sides: technological, social, economic, the whole shebang. The sheer chaos of modern leadership can honestly feel totally overwhelming. But what if that exact same chaos is actually the very thing that can make you a stronger, more effective leader?
Okay, let's dive into this because that right there is the core question we're going to unpack today. What does it actually take to lead in this current environment? To answer this, we're looking at a brilliantly concise, really insightful 2020 blog post that explores this exact dilemma. The author set out to figure out what the chief opportunities and challenges are for leaders today, and honestly, the framework she provides is incredibly clarifying for anyone trying to navigate their own sphere of influence.
Now, to really grasp this framework, we first need to understand the author behind it, Oluyomi Ole David. Her philosophy is basically rooted in one core idea. As she puts it, I am concerned about global development and transformation. Ole David proudly notes her Nigerian background, and she makes it crystal clear that she has a profound, deep-seated love for people. Her entire perspective is completely grounded in this passion for global development. She doesn't just want to sit back and observe the world, she actively enjoys generating solutions and providing clarity. And as we're going to see, her people-centric, solution-oriented mindset completely shapes how she views modern leadership.
Section 1, the globalized landscape. Let's start by looking at how she defines our current environment and those big macro-level challenges she identifies for leaders, no matter what field or sphere of influence you're in. The first major hurdle she points out, the sheer speed of change. We're talking about the rapid pace and shifting patterns of social, economic, and technological evolution. If your inbox feels like it's operating in 3 different time zones at once, while, a new app reinvents your industry every Tuesday, you are experiencing this structural shift firsthand. The rules of the game are literally constantly being rewritten. For a leader, this means the ground is always shifting right beneath your feet, which creates these unprecedented hurdles just to keep up, let alone stay ahead.
And compounding that breakneck speed is this fascinating concept she highlights: the shrinking global space. Globalization essentially means we are all operating closer together than ever before. It's like the world just got a whole lot smaller. But the shrinking space leads to incredibly complex global issues and massive, massive increases in competition. You just can't operate in a silo anymore. Because of this deep interconnectedness, changing societal expectations demand that leaders be highly accountable and, above all, incredibly flexible in how they respond to these emerging challenges.
Section 2, embracing opportunities for growth. Now, what's really interesting about this transition is how she executes a total pivot. She doesn't just list all these heavy pressures and leave us in despair, right? On one side, yes, we have the overwhelming pressure of a shrinking global space. But on the flip side, she presents a proactive solution. She argues that this exact same pressure presents immense personal growth opportunities for leaders. The secret ingredient? Adaptability. She says emerging leaders can actually use the speed of change as a catalyst to continually grow. It's like you don't fight the current, you learn to navigate it better than anyone else.
So, what does that relentless adaptation actually look like in practice? Well, she breaks down exactly what emerging leaders need to continuously learn just to keep up. First, understanding changing demographics, really knowing who you are leading and who you are serving. Second, mastering new technologies so you aren't left in the dust. And third, staying educated on policies advanced by global governance institutions. She makes it absolutely clear that continuous learning in these 3 specific areas is totally non-negotiable if you want to turn the speed of change to your advantage.
Section 3, the Modern Leader's Toolkit.
Okay, so knowing what to learn, that's step 1. But having the right skills to actually execute, that's step 2. Here, we unpack her practical toolkit for driving performance, maintaining accountability, and ensuring responsiveness. Excellent communication and strong planning and organizational skills, those are your absolute foundation. But she goes further. She emphasizes that good leaders are, fundamentally, role models that others actually want to follow. They don't just sit there and dictate, they empower others to take a shared vision and translate it into real, measurable results. And crucially, effective leaders aren't just putting out fires and reacting to the chaos. They are super proactive in developing the strategies needed to hit their goals long before the crisis even hits. And to fuel that proactive strategy, especially for those leading in international affairs or trying to influence broader systemic change, she requires what she calls a wholesome perspective.
I find this fascinating. She insists that you absolutely must understand the broader global economy, the deep nuances of culture, the intricacies of diplomatic relations, and the roles of all stakeholder organizations. You basically can't lead effectively if you're only looking at one tiny piece of the puzzle. You have to be able to zoom way out and see how the whole entire thing connects. Section 4, Building Social Capital. Let's move to and see how this builds into her next critical insight, because think about it. Once you have that wholesome perspective, you need a network to actually help you execute it, right? She defines social and collaborative capital as the ability to establish and maintain relationships with a broad range of persons who may provide support for current or future causes. Notice that she really emphasizes a broad range of persons, and she's looking at future causes, not just what you need right this second. She sees this capital as absolutely essential. A leader simply cannot survive the chaos alone. They need a robust, diverse network of support and influence to drive any kind of meaningful change. And look, because you're dealing with a huge network of diverse individuals in a high-pressure, shrinking global space, conflicts are basically inevitable. But she takes a highly proactive stance on this. Leaders with strong social capital don't just sit around and wait for conflicts to explode. They actively anticipate them, and they resolve them through a constant, dedicated pursuit of mutually agreeable solutions. It's really a continuous, active process of maintaining harmony and keeping that forward momentum going within your network. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from Ola David's insights. The globalized world is chaotic, it is shrinking, and it is definitely moving faster than ever. But as she so brilliantly outlines, that exact same environment is completely ripe for personal growth, continuous learning, and really powerful collaboration. So, the question isn't whether you're going to face complexity. You are, for sure. The real question is, how will you apply this empowering framework to your own personal growth? How are you going to build your social capital and turn today's complexities into your absolute greatest leadership opportunities? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you, start adapting those strategies today.